Doug Cano, I'm going to be introducing you. You get the outside.
Okay, those of you at the posters, it's time to come find your seats. Please come sit down so we can get going again. Maybe as they...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started, so if I could get you to take a seat. We're actually moving into the part of the program where we hear from our producers, and for me this is always one of the most enjoyable parts of any program, is to listen to people who've been living the real life experiences for the kind of technology we've been hearing about. You heard from kind of our scientific leaders in the first session this morning, then from Sandra and Randall, who represent some different areas of this particular topic area of applied reproduction, and now we're going to hear from some of the producers. The first one we have is Doug O'Hare from O'Hare Ranch in Ainsworth, Nebraska. The topic we have is how we make reproductive technologies pay, heifer development perspective. And he has quite a history of experience in this area, going back to, many of you know Gene Deitcher and some of the work that Gene did. Some of that was done at the O'Hare Ranch. O'Hare family has been ranching in Brown County, Nebraska for well over 100 years. In the early 1990s, Doug's father, Kenneth, began purchasing heifers and bringing them back to the ranch for development and sale. They've used most of the heifer programs through the years, including Synchromate B, and Doug says he's always open to looking at ways to improve results and has been involved with several research projects. So please help me welcome Doug to the podium.
Okay. I'm very humble and honored to be able to speak to you folks. I'm just an ordinary rancher. I don't have any doctors or PhDs, but it's very interesting, the program this morning. They've covered a lot of things that I do, and it's interesting to me to find out why I do all these things. Anyway. I'm from the O'Hare Ranch. A little background: we're a family operation started in 1896. My great grandparents homesteaded on the northern edge of the Nebraska Sandhills. Later on, my grandmother kept the ranch going by selling turkeys during the Depression and sending them to Chicago. So that kept our ranch going. My father had a partnership with my grandparents, and it was a Hereford cow operation. He bought the operation out in the mid-50s, and then later on bought the land. In the early 60s, he started farming. Late in the 60s and the 70s, he went to an Angus cow herd, and it was easy to see our cows because there were very, very few Angus cows in that part of the country at that time. He also started crossbreeding the Angus cows to Charolais bulls, which is a very good cross. Fed out the calves, and was very successful. In the mid-70s, he started farmed about 2,000 acres. We ran about a 700 cow-calf operation and a 1,500 head finishing operation. My brother and I came into the operation in the late 70s, 79. We were hit hard in the early 80s by the ag crisis. We managed to make it through it. We still farmed about 1,500 acres, run about 500 cows. It was a struggle for several years. How we got started in the heifer business. My father was in Montana buying feeder cattle, looking at steers, and he called back and says, "Boy, heifers are a lot cheaper." So we said, "Okay, go ahead and buy heifers." Then he called back later and says, "Maybe we should breed these heifers." So we talked it over on the phone, and between my father and my brother and myself, we decided we would try breeding heifers and selling bred heifers. And it worked. We brought them back to Nebraska. There was about 500 head. We sold all the heifers in a short period of time, in 3 bunches as it worked. And about this time, we sold the cow herd, decided to concentrate on the heifer program. The next year, we ended up with about 1,200 head. We had just in Montana again. We had attended several meetings about AI, public measurements, and so forth. A lot of the customers that called on the heifers wanted to know if heifers were measured, wanted to know the PD of the bulls, and wanted to know the background of heifers, breeding and such and so forth. We didn't any of them. So then, here with the 1,200 head, decided with public measure heifers, track the measures, and we decided we were going to buy the heifer. We synchronized B. Maybe some of you have heard of that. Maybe you haven't. Way back when synchronizers. We had Y do it. We were very, very experienced with what's going on. Y bred all 1,200 head of heifers in days. It was a disaster. So along the line, we had found a vet recommended to us so we could check the heifer at an early stage. And he came out, checked those heifers, and of course, it was a disaster. About a 30% exception rate. So we needed to find some bull power. The next year, we had us help set up an AI program, a little bit program than we did the year before. We started using MGA and a product shot A7. We heat detected and bred the heifers 12 hours after they were pulled. For several years, we together with UL, I think I mentioned Deitcher's name, came to us and said, we think the shot A19 would work better. So we did a project with him with our heifers, and day 19 did better. The detection rate up. The detection percentage came. Used that program for several years, and we would also heat detect second cycle and turn in the after we were done heat detecting. Again, using area vet to check. He was pretty accurate, but there was a few felt the cracks. He being pregnant or not pregnant, whatever. So in the 1980s, ultrasound came out to us anyway, and we decided to start using ultrasound, and that very well, and did not let any after the cracks because it was very. Also, in the mid-1990s, we had a program that we keep track of our heifers. We had a system where we were breeding about 4 at a time. We like to keep track of them, where heifers come from. They were bred and so forth. The computer program worked good. It also helped us use EA buttons, reader. It also helped us better track heifers. Prior to that, we'd get numbers and everybody ran the wrong numbers. Later on, a few years later, at the suggestion of AS regional manager Loudon, we looked into masking. We were running out of AI, hard to find people to help us detect we thought were going to be detected. So we went to a mass program. It was a lot easier on the middle. There was a lot less stress on them. There was a lot less stress lining everything up. We still do heat a second cycle, turn the bulls when they're done anything. With ultrasound, it is very simple to for a good sort between the egg heifers and the bull heifers. Presently, we eat about 1,800 head, two egg barns at the front double alley, and a box. We spend about 3 days. We still use GA in the 14 days, for 15 days in the prostate shot, day 19. We heat detect prior to breeding. All the heifers are given GNR8 shot breeding. Several years ago, I missed a meeting. They talked about cedars, how great they were. We could improve our consent rate in the cedar. We read a trial along with the heifer from the University of Alaska and ABS. They helped me line all up. We 14 head. We split 700 for cedars, 14 days, and 700 head with the NGA for 15 days. The result were similar. So today, I cedars are a project, but for me, the cost and the heifers shoot, we went back to UNA process and GR. How have we been in business for the last 26 years? We try to buy good heifers. All of our heifers are purchased. We try to buy Angus and cross away from all the crossbred heifers other than Angus and this Hereford cross. We've been by several groups year after year for we think it's a real price. Father used to have heifers in Montana, he said earlier, and that's kind of where it started. Contract heifers. We'd collect heifers in August for delivery in October. Worked very, very well. And after several years, the seller kept saying, "We want to contract heifers soon. We want to contract our heifers." We ended up contracting some heifers in May at a high price. We still had the heifers on hand. The market fell out, so that was a very good year for us. Try to buy the same ranch. Do it in the fall. Don't have two crop of cattle on hand at the same time. Another way we've been successful is we still measure our heifers. We palp them. one of the things that help our customers coming back to us. They always say that this is a big dollar. We keep track of all the people that buy heifers from us, try to contact them. If the problem's right, to make them happy. I've brought some heifers back sight unseen that they died. I've had heifer calf to the sale barn, pay you the difference. We try to get our customers happy so they will come back. Mistakes we made. We made a lot of mistakes over the years. Tried things that did not work. I found you not run your heifers through the chute on 5 or 7. It's a very fragile state for the embryo. We did that 1 year. Lost a lot of embryos, and it ended up with conception. We try not to stress the heifers at all, if at all possible. Seems like too many people around, they really get nervous, and it's a big stress factor. One of the ways we're successful, the little ally in the box, is stress on the cattle, less stress on the people. MGA, if you use MGA system, it's very important that a heifer gets a dose of MGA a day. A has been a big dollar for us. We first started AI and red heifers. Weren't a lot of people in the country doing that, and they couldn't believe we could sell a heifer that we could see was bred in 4 or 5 days, and she was going to have intends. A lot of people did not believe it was possible. They bought heifers they found possible. A lot of them became repeat customers. Pelvic measurement still help our program. The painting, so we get more bred heifers. We've used Academy's bull. We were very close to ABS. We've used the same bull for 12 years. He's in customers like him. We him. Overall, I would say what's made us successful is the AI, the use of ultrasound, the pelvic movement, good to our customers, and that's what made our program successful.
Thank you. Be taking questions a little bit. At this time, I'll ask Downey to come up. Barb is going to discuss how to make reproductive technology pay commercial perspective. Barb husband carpenter and operate Downey Ranch Inc., which is just south of Ways. They have 550 cows, including commercial and registered cows, and they're focusing on fertility and functionality first, with attention paid to optimizing performance and carcass characteristics. Please join in welcoming Barb.
It is a pretty big honor to be when you look at the folks that are on this program. And then above you out here, that I recognize from the industry, it's pretty awesome to be up here. Stand up to lower expectations because she only has a master's. Well, droppers to the basement because I barely BS. So, but here where I rubber hits the road. We're a commercial operation. Southeast down here, I think saving lodging, transportation costs me. We at full capacity, my Joe Carpenter and I run 450 males. We're spread having only used to have bulk having sold it. So we concentrate a little more. We do well. Run about 150 registered cows, leaves about 400 commercials, even with ES, like that math. All range type programs. So all cows are out and about all year round, dormant range, some stockpiled forages, some improved forages. We worry diligently at run input. Our heifer for a 50 to 55% when they come in, or excuse me, when we add them. After we do them, they go back on the door, native range, a little bit of protein. And as your Funston said, behavior, grazing behavior, they go with some or 6 cows to teach them how to forage. Sure cow, we get them when we're in calf. We are at 120 pounds, bigger than even I thought. If you ask me, they were 11-pound cow, 12 to 25. On range round, like I said. Dead clicker. Style 4, grazing, all of that. We're going to go more to hay. Used hay on our cow herd to some degree since 1990. So what toolbox? What are these technologies that we're using out on the ranch? Obviously, I've talked to you about AI. We use AI pretty extensively now. We've added more and more synchronization, currently synchronizing everything that we read now. So we're using MGA programs as was outlined. We will heat detect those and then up time AI. Get the Sync 7 leader, and they are exclusively timed AI because you'll see the in a little. We've used semen. We are not currently right now, but we did during that kind of expansion phase. We use ultrasound, which is kind of, I think, a little bit unusual for some of us commercial operators. Embryo transfer, talk about that's our COC herd only. Then we do some things with management that I say help make our technologies go a little better for us. We use that planner. Planner is a really valuable tool and updated every year, so you have this recommendations and don't mess up. You know, here they went 72 to 66 hours AI, and those get caught for you. We've always synchronized our heifers. What's the low-hanging fruit? You do. For years, we had cows and natural heats. We really enjoyed that, but as we got bigger and more things, just couldn't do it. We started seeing some of our mature cows in 2000s, and now we synchronize everything. In 2011, that will be AI. AI will be 5 days or later post-mortem. So our timetable. Here, May 11th, our breeding date for those. That was the AI for the heifers. May 15th, first heifers. Our first heifers we keep separate. Nice management group. That toughest to get rid the next year, so we keep them separate. Make sure that they're getting proper attention. We AI register commercial spread. It is only because of keeping middle size groups. So we then May 22nd finished with our commercial cows, who are also tuning as cows of them on May 26th, and embryo transfer day was June 2nd. We were done fine on June 2nd. The calendar there, here I'll load up for every brown bars and the words are some sort of synchronization operation. Now you see where the plan comes in handy. May is chaos at the ranch. You don't want to be on a race in May. So here's my 2017 years. Our synchronization AI cost put C in there. We'll come up here a little later. And a program costing us $1,550 or $1,550. Our program $1,639. If you're doing cedar gram by the where you're using your cedars only one time, it jumps up to $20.66. And I have included costs for cleaning up those cedars on $16.39 one. Our sin cost here. We've got a book we have collected and used over the last couple of years. He's an incredibly high fertility bull. We've had conversion rates as high as 5% him. That's he's a good producer too. 230 straw purchasing $22.39. Sex semen that we have both collected and next and purchased sex runs as about 25 straw. Why do we spend this time? Why would we put ourselves to hell in? Well, all that stuff that the doctors didn't talk about, I'm not even gonna cover. Those benefits are real. They're obvious. They're proven. Conception semen. This is huge. Fertility is absolutely everything to our line. And we can tick it up a little more and use a superior settler one term, if we can use that, it makes a huge difference. But there's the table of math. So if I've got synchronized calves and they're all in on day one, there's the 70% consistent semen. Now that's imperfect. Embryonic, no nothing. That's the maximum possible, pretty much. Either they're cycled randomly. 25 days, only four of those cows are going to get a breeding twice. Still a huge benefit to that high fertility semen. Run our crossing program AI gun. Simple as high. We can keep commercial this herd intact and create one balls or simangs. Really easy. No muscles, and we deliberately end those mates. If I've got a reproductively cow, there is no way I'm going to call her because she hung up her calf hung up a black carcass. I'll take half every time. But maybe ding with EPD on her. Terminal size is clean. That's so because then at a point in time, already naturally selected those females for your ounce and your spreads that are the modal in your system. So it's a nice little way to do that. And then we cut the battery up in half, which is not inconsequential. Synchronizing. Independent of the AI, synchronizing has been hugely important. So calves born in the first 25 days of our calving season has increased since we've been synchronizing all the cows and not just some of them. So prior percent calving 25 days, 2011, 65.72. Since we've been adding synchronizing almost everything, 77.8. So an increase of 4% in that first 25 days to have decreased by 11. There's the graph. There's spread prior to us. We were doing them synchronous. But when we synchronize all, look how that dropped. And if there's a test, in 2015, we had dropped synchronizing a lot of mature calves because of a health situation. And you get that effect about this 2 years later. So we decrease the days to half. Detection labor, we do AI on them. So that labor is done. That post-partum recovery time available cow. If she's calves on one, she's got 83 days. Day 25, bad. She's got 52 days. 52 days, still not bad, but look at that. One, she's only 5 days. And chances of being up in front of that, she's going to work pretty hard. What's the snowball effect? Finally, the snowball that was for all these just adding to each other. And having a positive effect that should get a little better every year. I mentioned we sex semen some. We spread heifers. We have a developed market for heifers. We've been doing it for a number of years. So we sex semen also the Hereford that we really like females in Baldy's wedding. And with this starting in 2011, watching, we kept thinking market's going to, we're going to get at building this. We got stupid lucky, just stupid lucky, and we sold increased numbers of females. We made them and then we sold them in 2013 to 2018. They averaged $2,764 at the pit. It averaged on my of heifer $3,300. Is 8 to 18 old bred heifers. Same time, our fat cattle, 15 months of 18.5 for that average. So when we looked at all of the costs and that the heifers came and took up last year for a year, all of that. Last year we got a little more realistic. We were at 2,000. But when you look at all of those costs, those heifers, it paid me $684 more than those steer calves. So was sex semen worth it? For us, definitely was. Ultrasound. So they am with the ultrasound rig. One of those is complete portable. I wear that around my waist. Heads up goggles. If we're barn like that, it'll broadcast to these so everybody can see what we're doing. We used to hire heifers ultrasound project, and it cost us $1,000. We were just after which AI which cleanup we for market decisions. Cost about $1,000, which is bad. In 14 purchases, it was size investment, split it with ranch since another one is in. So the cost of unit is $48. In 4 years, or 5 years, I paid the ultrasound just on having someone come in and do it for me. But the really one, the big, is that what happens to our open cows is every people in the toilet. I can get open cows gone, and open cows are a sizable income center for any commercial range. If I can get them gone when they're worth a lot more, chances are our body condition score is better. And that first year that we had, that was when awful fall off that the previous speaker referred to, and those open cows were gone. The cows really went in the tank. That one right alone for that silk ultrasound. And we're able to sort our heifers. We keep our first AI and get the rest. Some things that him about what they say fun. That industry we've got an introducer. We can, especially we're just pregnant, not aid pregnancy. It's that fast. Wear and tear on the shoulder, no wear and tear on my hand. On a good day, I do about 100 rectal pouting before mine just was just especially as a younger person. We preg check earlier. Well, 30 days regular, and again, the arm stays good. Possibilities, extending breeding season on our commercial cows, sort out the late buds and marking those spreads in the fall. Might be interesting to still keep a day king window, not in the have an open cow. Sex pregnancies, it's the intent probably at the point. And who the heck knows else? But we'll look with something. Sure, I'll learn something here today that we may put to action. And then a couple little management things we think really extend the reach of our reproductive technologies. We sales calves that many years ago. The net effect is we don't have scours, and then we have groups of calves all born in a week of each other. Makes managing their nutritional needs so stinking easy. Those ones with the big calves on them, if we've got Kaylee, maybe the one there, ones that have a cat are on the native range with a little bit of protein. We find weaning and tend to do in September. We have done it as early as July. We had a triple drought and a lot of heat. It's no stress, very low stress, on calves. Again, I mentioned we can do it in and weather. And then we got silly cow locked up for days, an ultrasound machine, so I can their 30 pregnancies. While they're just their marking time, get them pregnant, get them, and get them back out. And then the other cool thing about that is the single most easy body condition score management tool I've got in my toolbox. I get those calf heifers. They're the group we go after, and everybody in this room knows it's a heck of a lot easier for a female to maintain body condition is to play later. And then we've been doing this with our first cows set until they're ready to have their second one. It's been an artist group. We're still working on one. I think what we're not doing is competing with mature calf. After they've had this calf, we were came out with cows in the fall, and I just don't think they were good. So we're trying it to the calf. I thank you very much for attention today, and I can't tell you how much I am looking forward to learn a bunch this morning. Can't wait to see what I'm going to hear this afternoon.
Thank you, Barb. And our final speaker this session, Galen Finn. Beef Genetics is a family operation. Galen and daughter Megan. Son-in-law Chasson has a business was started in 1977 and worked at Kansas State University for a number of years. First as the manager of the research unit, and second manager of purebred beef, where he was an avid supporter of research and technologies. little inside story there. And so, anyway, would you join me in welcoming Galen?
Thank you, Ken. There are inside stories about trying a pure operation to have researchers doing stuff with it. So, I appreciate the invitation to give a little chat, I guess. I'm going to go pretty fast. I got some different topics. Before I start, I want to right now, I'm not here to get anybody mad. I want to tell you to think a little bit. I'm going to throw some things out, and we'll just take it from there. Appreciate saying the committee. The way I've got here, Bart, you hit the point. Barber, it was the committee, I suppose, that helped speak. Apparently, wasn't there that day. They never got asked. And Barber and I probably miles total travel expense. I figure that's what I got to ask. I'd like to pay special recognition to Andy Johnson. You know Andy. She has done probably as much as anybody ever in the state of Kansas on how people, especially the west part of the university, the state, and how them get programs on and science, genetics, and everything else. So, Sandy, thanks for putting this on. She's does a fantastic job and has for many, many years. With that said, we're good. Sandy said run this since I don't computer. Also, too, and I seen the speakers is saying, and I'm going to elaborate, but Patterson and Dr. Grieger, K-State, up yesterday, made some half of the deal tomorrow afternoon. And I was pretty intimidated when Sanders told me who was going to be on the program. Then I seen those who were on the program. I knew I could do better than they did. So they were arguing yesterday which end of the that they need to pout on. I don't know if they are straight. But anyways, Seed Stock Technologies. And I think the title was How We Make Them Pay. I'm not sure how they make them pay. All of our customers really pay attention to ultrasound at the same and different things like that. So I'm going to run through these. 99% AI 37 bootlegged delays from Mexico back when big ampoules before it was legal in the U.S. So we do some embryo transfer. We started in 1982. A case that was the point in time when we cut oil and the recipient out and shot it again, put it back. The embryos were collected in a big vessel. Like you wait an hour, had the embryo cell to the bone to get there. It's kind of been different things. You do transfer to really grow our program a lot. We start basically departments can know and pay much, right? But anyway, so we've used that technology really hard advantage to be able to grow and swallow the bull without having to have a land to do with. Ultrasound, quiet. And this is the things, I hope all some room art and people yell at me. I have a little problem with ultrasound. I think we've done a good job using ultrasound, measuring rib eyes, I think, in marbling. Everybody, I have a problem with that. I think what we've overdone is not pay attention to that. I think I had a lot of fat to count. But I guarantee 89% of the ultrasound, the fatter the are, the higher be a marb scan, and it'll be heavier and have a bigger eye. So any technology you have to keep some perspective of where you're going. In breeds, I think of a lot of how much spread and what's going on. That's fine. Bulls or whatever, high content diet, they may even relate fat on the or for female. In beach splitting, we're going to do that this fall. We're going to harvest eggs. We'll send them in. A new company, Frontier. We're going to try that, split those embryos in two. They got the ability to grow them. If I send them 50 fresh embryos, we can split. We can get 100 embryos. Those embryos in, we get 50 calves. That's better. get the original 25 to 50 to start. That's a new technology we're dabble with. DNA, I'm kind of, and know there's DNA company here. I still think they hand up in a gently. The day's coming in. I hope it happens by morning. But let's be careful. I think as stock producers, everybody out in the genetic industry have to remember who our customers are. So these fine. It's just people how fast we run, make we're not selling something that's not quite where we're yet. Okay, commercial producer tells a big deal. No problem. How many commercial producers in the room? Put your hands up, please. Now to you folks. Look at them in there when we come to this other stuff. It's our, and I say stock producers, AI company, anybody that else seen sells embryos, in those things, to create the genetics. It's your responsibility to these people in the eye, and it's up to you to do some of these. One, this is all genetics, and it's not disease stock. You'll know it, okay? So I'm not going to have to get through with some things I'm going to say. These are some issues that can be controlled by genetics. These are issues that affect fertility. You ever seen a crippled up bull when he's 3 years old with screw claw? I guarantee you, he ain't going to breed many cows. You ever seen those cows that starting out from under when they're 2, 3, 4 cows? I tell you, they ain't going to get bred. That goes back to fertility. Last time I checked, we control this thing. And yes, that's starting to look into this thing now. We can control those, all of us. Okay. The commercial guys that rely on us is in their area, in their environment, produce right genetics with these amount of problems. I didn't get to talk about with Jeff genetics not very often. We put in a year guarantee 7 years ago in the world, and a guarantee on feed and check our bulls. The semen check. I fully believe that every bull should be semen checked by the time they're 2 months of age, 13. And depends when you've been in there. Check our bull 11 months of age. They checked one more time. Very few of those ever get checked third time. Their head cut off by 14 and a half months if do not produce under the best eyes in the industry. BS, that their heads cut off. I really think as an industry, and I'll tap into it because I'm going to make some folks mad about older bulls. I will explain myself. There's some huge opportunities here for the commercial guys that help hands up. Okay. Now, what's big hair? You send hair to the southeast part of the United States, they will die. So it's very important they eye studs or anybody don't see anything that that's in their catalogs. Those cattle won't drop hair. Hair has a lot to do with reproduction in certain parts of the United States. These guys use the commercial semen all different places. They need to know these things. I don't know if I've ever seen anything about hair in a bull catalog except in the club calf section. It's extremely important for reproduction. Mature cow size. I'm not going to touch on that. Barb, I'm very impressed. I had customers the other day, and that was their average 12-48. Years ago, we were chasing single trait selection. The cows were big, milk and cows were big, and they've really screwed down tightness and just like what Barb in there. But as they have increased some, these cow size, their conception rates have up in their environment. We've known for 100 years. People, why pay attention? Again, the commercial guy wants going to hit. If we're the one promoting all the genetics, okay? They're the ones that's going to take a hit. If we don't try to do what's right by them. Same thing, single trait selection. It's to me personally horrible in industry. It creates problems. it's worth. Again, just talking is a general deal. You start from 2 traits, you're going to get in other areas. And so, well, okay, those cows work with the second barn. That didn't work. Commercial guys don't do that quite easy. Okay? You got to be look them in the face. Or the obvious, of course, nutrition and health and all those things. Okay, man problem. What? How could we make man-made problems for our industry as seed stock producers? Anybody got a clue? Seeders. Oh, no takers. I have some takers afterwards for this problem, Sandy. I strongly believe if you are a seed stock producer, and I know why you do. I understand it. I'm stupid, but I'm quite that stupid. I fully believe if you're a seed stock producer, you need to be careful on how you synchronize your cows. Why? With those set of 100 heifers, you breed them naturally, or not naturally, AI naturally. And you get them full, it's going to be at the end of anybody's. You start saving bulls out of the handful of heifers that did her when the other 97 did. You're promoting infertility. Unknowingly, not thinking. We use some synchronizing. We use prostaglandins lutely. Obviously, that does not work except cycling heifers. To me, that's a deal. When we start using drugs, again, as seed stock producers, I'm not talking about the commercial world, then we're bumping up cattle, whatever percent it made, 5 or 10% off that bottom end that's not going to cycle because they don't have the fertility. We're actually helping them. Okay? Everybody see where I'm coming from? And I've thought this for years. Same way on second calf heifers. You got one that's milking hard, and all of a sudden she don't cycle for 2 cycles, and then you start selling bulls out hurt the bull stud because they're the greatest EPD that ever walked or whatever it may be. And her grandmother was the same way. Okay? What you're actually doing is promoting a lot of infertile genetics that pass up through the system. And one of these commercial guys goes buy bulls out of that cow. That bull sires that same infertility that his dam and his granddam and all through the had. And that is genetic. And we are supposed to control the genetics. So I would really urge seed stock producers, AI studs, why in the world would you lease a bull that won't freeze semen until he's 18 months of age? Why? Why would anybody sell semen on a bull that won't produce freezable semen until he's 18 months of age? That's idiotic. We have all these things to work with, but yet we do little things like that are the gray area that slip off to the side. Okay? Ken's going to shut me off pretty quick, I can tell. So just trying to watch my time, Ken. Okay, fattened bulls. That's probably one of the worst things, and I'd see on the speakers today and tomorrow, there's some folks that's going to address some of these concerns that I've had for a long time. I really look forward to what they're going to tell us. We scanned our bulls last week, Angus and Charolais, and we averaged about 0.11 back fat. Why? Yeah, they don't look fat and slick. They won't have the biggest ribeyes. They won't have the highest margin. But you remember that 3 guaranteed put out on semen? That'd be stupid not to put that. You don't develop bulls right. There's gentlemen that's going to talk about that those way more do. But fattening bulls can be a huge problem, and it is a huge problem in stock history. Rare and variable semen. Get a kick. I used that rare and variable semen 30 years ago, I think. You know what's rare and valuable about it? The sorry sucker that it came from after 10 years. That sorry sucker never produced semen. His sons didn't produce semen worth of crap. A lot of them were small testicle. And it was a whole lot of cattle. It was it was in the line of cattle. It all is genetics. Okay? So if you get seminal bulls rare and valuable, and I'm going to say this. To me, rare and valuable if he's 15 years old when he quit producing semen and he still does a fantastic job and he just quit at 15 years of age. To me, that's rare and valuable if his semen's still in demand. If he's a 2-year-old bull that had all the 4-color ads and all the hype and all the glamour and he's the top 1% of this and the top 1% of that, and he was fat and he never did produce good semen, whether it's fat or not, he needs his head cut off. Who are we kidding? We can come up with all these things in the industry to solve all the problems. We can create the drugs and everything, but it still goes back to genetics and fertility on how it works. Hit and miss bulls. I hate bulls that are hit and miss on semen production. I know bulls and stud folks, guys. I know the summertime, some of them shut off and things like that. And I've always had a little concern about that. If it gets hot, my gosh, there's a lot of bulls in this industry that breed cows when it's hot. But bulls that are hit and miss on semen production, I really don't want anything to do with them. I want bulls when they go out in the industry are going to breed cows. They can't be off 1 week and on another week. Okay? And then overalls, I told you on that. I have nothing. Go out here saying cussing cedars because you didn't listen to what I said. If you do, I'm just saying from a sea stock. And don't go out here saying Galen Fink is all against older bulls. I am not. There are areas of the country where older bulls definitely work. All I'm saying as a stock producer, the AIC company, again, an emerald seller, whatever you do genetics, all I'm saying is test those bulls a year of age. See what they are. Unless they're in it, and I've seen a couple of programs where they're kind of malnourished bulls. The guys want to grow them out to 2 years of old, or some odd deal. The bulls are only weighing 700 pounds a year, okay? But what I'm saying is, if you are in the bull production business, semen check those bulls. Yeah, you'll have to semen check them again at 6 months or 2 years old whenever you sell them. That's fine. That's no problem. It costs a little more money, but you may be selling bulls unintentionally that are subfertile. Okay? Just some areas, and this kind of scared me. Dave Patterson had some notes on this too. These are just areas that I see that concern me. Pregnancy retention, embryos. I think Cliff Lamb's going to talk about that sometime. I'll be interested how we can make a lot more embryos and keep the cows pregnant. Clay Briner. Semen differences in pregnancy rates. Standardized semen evaluation method. I think every AI study, anybody sells semen, there needs to be a standard. So when that semen comes out of that particular place, that it's the same. What is with all the variation in bulls? Why do we have some are lower and some are higher? And what gives there? It's just questions I have. And I missed sex semen on that too, somewhere I was talking and not listening to myself, trying to hurry here. But sex semen, we've used sex semen since 2011. We've probably done 350 to 400 flushes with sex semen, which is not supposed to be workable. I gave a talk at BIF, I think 3 years ago, and we were just a half an embryo under on embryo production with sex semen as compared to conventional. Dry lot cow fertility, I think that's a whole new area. I think that's the only way some young people's going to get in the business. I think some of you graduate students here could start looking at some things like that, just as some results for that. Okay, always be alert so we don't create problems long term that will have long term negatives for the commercial producer. If it wasn't for the commercial producers in this country, none of us, the rest of us in here, would have a job. They are number one. And Mother Nature's pretty darn hard to outsmart if you really apply all the laws like you should. Okay. In this video coming up, it's a little cloudy. I was told to be a little cloudy. My daughter yelled at me, my wife yelled at me, and everything else. But we're going to play this little video, and I just say the Border Collie is the commercial guy, okay? And then you'll see 4 little cats running around. If these folks would stand. Sandra, would you stand? ABS rep. Dave Patterson, where you at? Dave, in the back. Willie Altenberg, where's Willie? Quick. Willie, over here. And Rick Fortmiller from GeneSick. Rick, where you at? Okay. All 4 of these are the cats in the video chasing this poor commercial guy around. Okay? Alrighty. Thank you. Now these are the 4 chasing this poor Border Collie, trying to sell him stuff. Plus all the feed reps, all the drug guys. Does that seem familiar to a lot of you? If you're a commercial guy? Thanks to Anna Lemon for use of the dog in the cat video here. Commercial guy not knowing what way to turn. I think that's Willie Altenberg there in the lower right. Yeah. Yeah, and here comes Patterson wanting to do research trials and everything. So, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If that does incite question, I'm not sure will. I'm going to ask Barb Down come up, Sarah Levering, Dr. Hare, and Ms. Hare. There he is. Okay. If you would come up, take a seat. We've got some microphones, and we're going to open it up as soon as you get seated. Open this question. You want to take it out? Okay. The on is right. There you go. It was on. When it was green, it was on. Well, you can do either. Keep his off. Okay, Barb said keep Galen's off. So, okay, we have a microphone, and Dr. Johnson got that. So, any of you have questions? And she also has some cards with some previously questions. So, the floor open. Questions from the audience. Sandy, good.
So, I got a question submitted right here. I'm thinking this may go to Dr. Patterson and the other comments, the opinion or experience with cow assisted and co-assisted protocol and implemented. That may be what we want to handle this evening, or Dave want to.
Let's delay one if we could, Andy, and so we can move on to questions that he directs particularly handle.
I was just curious on herdment software systems that you all use or recommend.
Software systems that you use, recommend for cow management, commercial calf.
I use the association software games. It's very editable to show, and I have them registered. In addition, we use Google Docs and Google Forms to drop information on the fly. Did several inputs for these in their phone.
Okay, anyone else want to comment?
We have people that use the CAS and works well with the software program. You got it. You know, sometimes you feel like for the software, but each operator is different. You find one that works better for you, and just you're going to make it work. But you got to have information that you collect. Put it on a spreadsheet. I have one place where I go preg check and going through the chute, and I can tell me what it's to, what it's their heifer did in the yard, but you got to find something and you're going to make it work. There's no fixed system there.
Okay, any question? Sandy, do you have one there?
Well, I do have a question here, everybody going to answer.
Okay.
The question is, are you planning on updating sync plan to reflect using XC? We had that discussion last night. I feel like we don't have an update to change anything in those protocol sheets right now. So we expect changes in that manner in the next 12 months unless it's more technology related.
Sandy, what about to that and doing 3 groups of kids at one time, different cups?
Yeah, we have attempted to do some things with the synchronization partner. I've worked with Dalkey the past several years, and we're trying to send, so you can send an ICS file to put it in a calendar that would allow to make multiple groups, and essentially we the program based on Sandy's research to do that. We had to rebuild it. We're talking again about other ways to look at that. Now, what I do have as an option is another tool to develop called management binder that you set those things up. You just simply print your calendar for each group and incorporate it into this larger product calendar. And I will be discussing that tomorrow afternoon in the last section. So,
other questions? See, I have for Gail Fink. And Gail, here's my question. If I'm a cow calf producer and I've been buying bulls from prominent age breeders for many years, and now decided cows are a little too big, how do I go about changing that? Are the two really there?
First of all, you are wise and you should have known her. Absolutely, too. Has Dr. Batting for breeds, whatever breed, but the Angus Association, we can go in there and find hybrid bulls. What we do, but we can hybrid bulls that are 100 or so pounds over or on mature cow, and we can find bulls that are 100 pounds minus on mature cow weight. So different over time, those things can happen. It's just anything else. Just minus cow weight, you keep everything balanced with it, or you bunch of little pudgies the packer want. Get you?
It's good for.
Okay.
I had a question for Barbara. I think she said pregnant at 3 days. You're concerned of losing any of those? Checking that.
That is a very point. When we've been doing the low cattle handling for a number of years. In fact, we were with a case study. They were trying to correlate all and score all that to consider, and we were terrible to see herd because all of ours just ambled out of the chute and turned around and looked at. So it is a risk for to age those species. We kind of have to do that at that time, and we make sure a nice cool morning. We're starting early. We our handling is as quick as we can.
Question. See a question. Microphone in the back. Good, sir.
Do you have a cause cure for vertical hoof hacking? My veterinarians do not.
Just the Dr. Sir.
So interesting you asked that. And I apologize for getting everything fire. But since the fire, the things I've looked at, one of the injuries we saw a lot of were feet injury, coronary. Many of those were youth, their feet were blown off. But when I'm seeing 3 months later, if we remember a wall growth, at 90 days, that hairline, down that hairline, there is a hardship groove. And at the hardship above that, there are some areas where there's some cracking that's occurring at coronary bed. So, if you look, Paul Now's book, probably one of the better ones that have talked about vertical cracks. There's thing in lifetime that's a change in the ruin stress in the room and it happened. Imagine those cows were stressed a little bit for those couple of days, and their rumen was pretty well stressed. And I think that at that time, I'm putting together a thought process that those cows were stressed at that time. And if we look at whether it's bulls or cows or calves, and you start to look at their feet, their hoof, as it grows, you'll see various challenges in their life, just like and when we picked the feet up, we actually found some abscesses that go up the wall. So I believe that those vertical cracks, Galen wall genetic issues, but some of them can genetic issues because they're on the feet, those are long. They're environmentally too. And so I think those are some things we have to keep in mind and manage around it. We feed the animal. And you have issues. You've had a issue some before that.
Okay, gentleman right over here in the orange shirt.
I want to discuss the blood test on the pregnancy. What's y'all's opinion?
Okay, the question has to do with the various blood tests for detecting pregnancy. Barry, you think that?
It's a tool that can be used. People think as a veterinarian, I'm testing not to use it because you're taking money out of my pocket. Yes, that's true, capitalist, but also a very good job at what we do. There's also a challenge with it, and there will be false negatives and false positives. You can't 100% rely, particularly if in that area. There's also an issue of dyslexia, and when it can sort of the shoot pregnant and open this way, that's pretty rare, unless it gets open down there and they redo that group again. We that. I think that it's a tool used when not good vet service or technician or somebody's willingness to go. We recently checked a 1,000 head on a ranch. We want to do it. The pregnancy blood test doesn't give you a date. I think that various people have suggested that it's a cool thing that ultrasound is can date them and see and tell them accordingly, or utilize that data, and it's very accurate.
Sandra, I do have a comment there. I saw you up the microphone.
Just a personal use of it. You know how to preg, have access to a ultrasound machine, but the way I found it applicable in my herd, in pre-conditioned calves, I pulled 30 days prior to that. I gave the one, can't palate, can get those cows gone when it's still. So I look at it more as a marketing tool to be able to sort ones that aren't pregnant, make sure that they're the ones that are open. I do think it has value, and access to ultrasound or getting some scheduled. It does allow you to pick.
Hey, we got vets. She's right at the door.
And I can put myself, but not at 30 days. But I do think it does have value there in terms of being able to get those marketed or those calls marketed in a period where they do more value. So use it myself. Continue.
Okay. Next question. Sandy.
Well, I have a question, and that's for Doug. I guess I'm interested in how you manage your purchasing, determining how much you're going to purchase heifers for some of the market variability. I know it's not a answer, but it would make some comments on that.
That's when you first me the email was what my topic, and I thought, boy, that's a tough topic to run on how you know to spend for when 600 pens and what you're going to bring when you're going to sell her in the fall or anything. The way I do that is I know what my costs are going to be from when I buy her pretty much to when I sell her. And I have no written way to do that. It's kind of a gut feeling. I try to buy the best heifer I can buy at a price that I'm pretty sure I can sell her in the fall, that I'm not going to lose a lot of money. There's no really good down way to do that because there is no future market for a heifer, fall or in the spring. So it's just kind of that feeling how I know what it's going to cost me to do her from when I hire to when I sell her. And that's basically how I work it.
So no cost is
no, my cost is very, very important on how I make my program work. Yes.
Got a question right over here.
I did go to any of you. You can chime in as you will. I want to go back to your question earlier, Doctor. You talked about your size. That's an area that's been a little frustrating for me in our commercial cow herd. We pay attention to that yearling weight, positive VD, and the yearling frame size, as well as mature size. But I have to be honest with you, and it's not scientific, but they don't seem to jive very, very much. And we have a lot of pressure on that moderating year weight EP and year weight frame size, and instead some cows that will end up being way larger than intended, what biggest in your herd size is. So I'm not satisfied with that answer yet, Dylan. I'm looking for something a little more automatic to help make sure that I get that cow size is 1225, which is low consistently. And what should we do?
Go ahead.
Since you put me in the spot, Mike. It's going to take time. This example I gave those guys last teams, they really use production as their team. Big cows have fell out of bed without extra feed and things like that. So to me, that you really tie down for the big hardening cow will fall out because they breed on unlimited resources. And I Ken was trying to because the answer is question, but with PPD some, it sounds like you're that there is room in the Angus to select cow size, but exactly what you're saying, the suckers get pretty good size when you use some of those PPDs. So I pass on that one. I've got a couple of weeks. They just right down there reproductive. He said they're big cows, hard milk cows, falling like flies. So, but it's a tough.
It seems like mature weight is not decreasing with decreasing frame score. But
if you can identify the ones that have a good mature weight, not their lower frame score point, you're putting the right package in terms of something that's some muscle definition, it's got some of the body. So I think it's using it concert together the right plan. I don't think they have the EBDs that really totally help us. The tools help us totally describe that. But the management that we oftentimes ignore or select first. How many of you guys keep the biggest growthiest herders? You know, that part of the process on the feed side is you can cut the top and the bottom, making sure you're not keeping those really big heifers because they end up being cows. And my master's research is looking at if there's an influence service exception, those big and those little ones, the ones that get pregnant.
Follow-up question.
In my plan, it's pretty easy. I buy the heifers that are moderate heifers, so I'm not selling a heifer that's going to be 16-pound calf.
I do understand what you're saying, but I'm going to challenge you a little bit. Because we'll select females that are half sibs, that are moderate frame size, and you've got individuals that they're ailing out on. And on that weight, I also agree with you about the body shape and size. But a lot of times, those heavier, lower frame cows just have big livers and really big knees and really things that are high maintenance items that can just as detrimental to reproductive. So, we probably get the answer today, but I think something that's a little more discussion than where
and
we're
there's work that needs to be done in the area too. There's a lot of things that our EPs do, but not things that they describe well. So there's a more work that's to be done. When we talk about SIBs, let's just consider our brothers and sisters, own family. That's not exactly a magic bullet either.
Not genetics, like Sandra. Apples and bananas, we all have a lot of differences.
Next question. Sir, do you have a question? Let's wait and get your question on the microphone.
Where you've been selecting fertility stuff, if you see scrotal size up on bulls, or you have a size for your bulls?
We got 650 ml bull a year, and we'll have to drop bulls that not 30 centimeters. I'm just guessing, but that's so. What our average probably 30 scrotal, those less than 13 bulls. Now, interesting, some of this crowd, and it's still a lot of debating means, but times when we get 40, 41, 42 on a year bull, they have poor semen. I don't know why that is.
There's a reason I'm down here. I don't agree with one. Longhorns, a little bit of tickles, and they breed cows in a 4-mile area. I think that some of your sweeping statements about the fertility of a bull, we have to understand that semen that's given today produce 60 days. Just because it doesn't pass a day doesn't mean that he's a fertile breed and to cut his head off because it's 2 months now he's going to be a fertile. If your fertility has enough bull and it's 105 degrees in the low temperature, gets to 80 degrees at night, and you have 30 bulls that don't pass and you're going to sell, you can sell them, but when the weather goes down, they're pass and they're going to have exceptionally semen. So we have to be careful making the broad sweeping statements. And as we tell a lot of bulls, it'll go. And I think we veterinarians or whoever does fertility test ask ourselves, would I turn the bull out? And if I turn him out today, probably not. Will he be later? There's bulls that I've tested, and their scrotum feels fine. I'm thinking, how we don't get, how could he's not missing the same day? Or how could he has too many proximal drops on a young bull? Just because they're there today doesn't mean they don't go away. Be testable. If you think everything feels right. And I'm glad you have bulls to chew your heads off. I think there's some opportunity out there, and I think we're selling my commercial people short when we do that. So I think we need to be careful in the statements when making those at scientific.
And I was talking the broad range. What I'm saying is, at a deal, check bull, and if they pass, recommend 3 weeks later, because there is a big deal the day of the check. Not try to lead. My point was genetics. I can genetic lines that have poor fertility that won't check until 20 months. So that was my. I forgot the mistake.
You derailed the train?
Yeah, derailed my own.
Cow size? We're done with them?
But scrolls. Yeah. The only reason I said 31 is that I think the veterinary recommendation 30 or 31.
So
your age.
Society of Urology has that threshold.
Yeah, right. I came from.
And also, if we're going to talk about fertility thing, I think we need to look at the Society for Urology standards of 30 in a young bull, and we all have an opinion for that. I probably would pick a 30. That preference, that's not scientific. The next threshold, when we tell passes fails at the moment because of his size. Secondly, we look at fertility. He passes or fails at size. And then we look at morphology. He passes if he has 70% or greater, and he fails if he has less than that. If I take a semen sample from a bull every day for 7 days, there's a variation. So before I was at an school, the scoring system is 70, 60, 50. That's not applicable today because it's like a potential statement. It's a period in time of what was going on to that long ago. And what effect seeing we test the bull, we can determine will be a satisfactory breeder day. And the question we ask and encourage you to think of it that way.
I just add to that one other aspect. I think the question really also about being more reproductive selective, choosing age bulls. What are you doing to enhance fertility of the female? That's I think where deals coming.
Yeah, bulls. You can have bulls that are one at the back, bulls that have 10 back. That's going to be scrotal.
Well, gentlemen, it's just trying to get a question in. Fire away.
This is Sam. I guess you were talking about a team approach. I thought I mentioned something about a veterinarian in there. Gather you don't have a veterinarian. I come out. You don't do any pregging, and you draw blood of them. My question: what role does the veterinarian have on your piece, and what do you see a veterinarian having?
A vet has a very, very important role. Even though I don't have random out and do preg check, I still use my local veterinarian to recommend what to do from a vaccination standpoint. They know what disease is prevalent in the area. They know what management. The reason I don't bring out is I preg check case say I was in grad school, and I don't go to any bell saddle, but I do my own. But I think checking is important, and the veterinarian needs to be an important part. Just as long as well as nutritionist, technician you're using, your health is shoot. They're all. It's a team that is successful or not successful. So that's the important part. Is the veterinarian still needs to be. When I do the test, I'll also go back and arm those calves later on. After I've those calves, I'll go back and arm them because you still lose pregnancy after that time. Just using blood test management to help me get more out of my cows.
Okay, we've got time for one last question. And this gentleman right here is ready to go. See if you could get a microphone.
I'm not sure I want to address, but I'm really interested in that cow size thing. Why is there a 1,250-pound size average when we're probably from room here where we're coming from different horses, different parts of the country? Shouldn't it be more focused on what per body weight she's weaning, what she's producing, instead of setting pound size for the whole industry and all resources throughout the country?
How many have ever heard about saying you match the out of the environment and to the market? That adage when I was in college, and it still applies today. You got to figure out what works in your environment.
Okay. Barb?
I would say there is perfect cow size. I mean, perfect cow size is different, and with that 1,225 pounds that I have, there's 1,500 cows out there, and there's 900 pound cow there. That's just that average land. So I get too wrapped in it. I don't get too wrapped in individual data, period, except that fertility performance. What I want to keep track on are trends I heard. Am I going the direction I want to go? And we'll never, ever call a pregnant cow fertility. Fertility is just absolutely everything to our bottom line. I can fix things, but I would rather have 95% calves weaned, cow exposed, every one of them a select Chris. I would 87 and get 8% price. Can't make that difference. Got to get that calf first.
Wraps our morning session. Join me in thanking panelists. And I'm going to turn it over to Sandy. He's going to tell you what your instructions are for lunch.
Okay. One non-action item, I happen to be thinking of it now, it's important, is one that needs CE credit. We have those forms and things at the registration desk, so if you didn't get that, check in. If you have any more questions we didn't get to, please give those to me, and we'll address those tonight, as well as one of those other questions we'll back to. So for our lunch, we have a buffet line set up in the hallway, and if I try to shoot you out one door, I don't think you'd listen to me anyway. So the food in the hall we're going to bring back in to eat. Okay, we have about an